What is going on, Taurus? It's Chris Anthony coming at you guys live and direct. This is going to be your reading for the month of July. All right, Taurus, I am kind of late, so forgive me for that, but I definitely want to get the messages out to you guys as soon as I could. And today is your day. All right, so we're going to be hopping into your reading. This is a general reading, Taurus. It may not resonate with everyone, but if it does resonate with you, do me a favor, like, share, subscribe, comment, all those things that help the channel out. It also lets me know that you're watching and this is helping you out in some type of way. If it doesn't resonate with you, you can always check out your rising or moon sign. This can also be applied to your rising or moon sign if your rising and moon sign is in Taurus, right? Because a lot of people ask me that, so yes, it can. Other than that, what do I usually say? I just got thrown off, Taurus, because your energy is a good spread, so I'm trying to keep it kind of in my mind. Other than that, check me out on IG at chrisanthony14lbs. That's Chris Anthony 14 pounds. That'll be in the description of the video. And I do have private readings open if you guys want to get a more personal experience with me. All right, Taurus, let's do this. We're going to be hopping into your present energy right here. This is also going to be your main storyline, like we always do it. And then after that, we'll hop over here to your futuristic energy, which are also your supporting details of the story. All right. Now my setup is a little bit different, so bear with me because I am in the process of a move. So it may look a little bit different on camera, but the energy and cards are the same. All right. We just had an eclipse July 2nd, Taurus. I know you've been feeling that energy. It's kind of crazy. We're also having Mercury retrograde this month. So yeah, we're all enjoying that at the same time. But let's see what's going on. Taurus, starting off crowning your reading, you have the moon card clarified by the Queen of Wands. Now, I'm kind of picking up that in the month of July, it's almost like you're being asked to go on a path that's kind of like the unknown. Walking into an unknown path, walking into, a place that kind of is almost like the road not taken. If you ever heard of that Robert Frost poem, talking about the road not taken, the road that's not traveled by many people. And it's almost like you're being asked to pioneer something. Now with you stepping out into this place of the unknown, walking into a place of no man's land, it's almost going to be maybe scary for you or whatever, because they're under the moon card or the moon energy is not a lot of clarity. Your perception could be slighted because you're walking on something that's brand new or into a path where it's not well lit, right? Or you don't have all the details of this path. And it's almost like you're going to have the faith to step into it foot by foot, step by step, and just see what you can see as you see it. Because you're not going to be able to know what's at the end of this path with this new thing that you're stepping into in the month of July, which you could have already been, headed in this direction. But you're going deeper into some unknown path is what I feel like, or you're carving out a way into the unknown, kind of be taking on that pioneering spirit, right? Which is why you have to have and adopt this Queen of Wands energy. So this could be the energy that you're taking on in the month of July, which is causing you to kind of, get stubborn about what it is that you want for your life, right? The Queen of Wands takes on the energy of being very determined, very energetic, right? She's all about progress. She's all about ideas, and she stays highly motivated, right? And aware of her goals. So with this new path that I feel like you're taking on, or this new direction that you're going into, you're going to need to kind of have this energy that's coming in for you in the month of July. Now, this could definitely be affecting you after this eclipse, and you could already be starting to feel the effects of it, because for you, I feel like you're getting an energetic boost with this Queen of Wands energy. And there's also kind of like a switch that's happening on the other end of it. I do feel for some of you other Tauruses, there's kind of like almost a table turning type of energy that's happening, because in your read, and I'll show you real quick, you have the moon card followed by the world card, followed by the sun card, right? So this is talking about duality, right? You also have the Four of Swords here, and on the other side of it, you have the Knight of Wands, right? So on one side of your reading is talking about beneath the surface, things that happen behind the scenes. It's talking about darkness. It's talking about rest, right? And then on the other side of your reading is talking about things that are above the surface and light and action. And this is kind of what's happening. I feel like there is a crossover because right in the middle you have the world card. And I'm kind of showing you the whole spread only because it kind of makes more sense for you this month to show you kind of like the whole spread. Right? So I do feel like for some of you guys, there's going to be like a switch up that's happening in your energy. If you've been in this moon energy, right, up top, where you were just kind of like everything was bubbling beneath the surface, you were in a place of development. You know, when pictures need to be developed, they have to be in complete darkness, right? So I feel like some of you guys have been in a place where you didn't see a lot of action that's been happening with you. You haven't been outwardly, making things happen in your external reality because things have been happening kind of subconsciously beneath the surface, right? And now, though, coming into the month of July, it's like you're coming to the surface with this world energy. There's a shift that's happening. There's an end of the cycle that's taking place where it may have started in your subconscious mind. It may have started in darkness and started in a place of development. But now there's a shift that's kind of bringing it all to the surface. And so you have this relay that's happening with the world card coming in talking about a transition, right? So you're in a place of transition this month, but quickly moving into the sun energy. Right now with the world card, when you transition into this energy, you are also taking on this King of Pentacles energy. Now, for some of you guys, you could have these characters in your life also, this Queen of Wands, a fire sign, or an earth sign in your world, right? These could be two different people that could be around you also, and I'll talk about that too. But overall, I do feel like these have to do with the energies you're taking on. Because after you come out of this moon card and you embark on this new path, going into the place of the unknown, right? Then you come down into this transition of the world card where you're ending the cycle of the unknown. You're ending the cycle of darkness or subconscious activity or things happening beneath the scenes or behind the scenes, right? And it's because you're coming into this King of Pentacles energy, which talks about what you're trying to build for your longevity, where you're trying to go. And sorry if it feels like I'm jumping around everywhere, Taurus, but there's a lot that's happening for you, and I'm trying to fit it into your reading, right? So in this transition, you're taking on this King of Pentacles energy, which he is all about stability. He's all about financial wealth. He's all about creating it for himself, right? This is a businessman. This is the entrepreneur. This is the investor. This is the person that is all about his coins. And he also has the Midas touch. So this is what you're coming into this new cycle with, the ability to see where you can capitalize financially, right? The ability to create openings and opportunities for yourself so that you can be more abundant, right? And this is just more than money, more than finances, right? The coins have a lot to do with our stability overall, right? Our confidence in ourselves, our self-worth. And I do feel like with this transition that's happening from out of the darkness, out of the place of development, you're coming through this portal of the world with a lot more self-worth, right? With a lot more confidence in yourself and where you want to go and who you want to be in life. And this is what's going to be attracting these newer opportunities to you. Because the King of Pentacles can only be as wealthy as he is and only be in this place of power because he knows that he deserves it. He attracts it to himself. So the opportunities come to him, right? The ideas come to him, and then he implements those ideas and he applies it because he knows that he deserves to have what he envisions. And this is what's happening with you stepping into this world energy, coming into this new portal of activity. Right? You're coming through with a strong sense of awareness, a strong sense of self-worth, right? And confidence. And then you come down into the sun energy. Now, I do feel like in the second half of July, this is what's going to be happening. Like the sun is going to be shining on you. Everything will be out in the open. This is the time for you to reveal, right? Or the universe to reveal to you the path that you're on. Because I feel like you did embark on something that was kind of in the darkness. You kind of had to have faith in your spiritual team. You had to have faith in yourself and the universe as to where it is you were actually going. You just know you had to move. You had to get on a certain path, right? You had to kind of start thinking a certain way because there was movement happening even though you couldn't see that movement was happening, right? And so now when you come through this portal, which I believe with you was very much tied into the eclipse energy, on the other side of the portal, you have the things being revealed to you, right? You have the clarity coming in, right? You have your new perspective coming in, and now you're looking at things as they are, right? Instead of looking at things, in the moonlight, you're looking at it in the sunlight. So now you're taking things for face value, and you understand where it is that you are and where it is that you're going, right? And which is also giving you more confidence, right? But this is the new portal that you have walked into, right? You had the sun card clarified by the star card, which talks about you being in your star power, right? You tapping into that energy that only you have, your uniqueness, your fingerprint, your energetic signature, and being able to display that within the world, right? Being able to display that on the path that you're on. And everything is kind of fueling you up with this new energy that's here. The sun energy is highly optimistic. It's highly positive. There are nothing but good vibes that come within the sun. The sun talks about being fertile. It talks about growth, having, a higher perspective, operating on a higher frequency, right? And being kind of lightheartedness, right? This is the total opposite of where you're coming from. Where you had to start at was in a place of kind of like heaviness, hesitation, right? The unknown, like I said, everything that the moon represents. Darkness, moonlight, right? That's where you started at, which is why you had to take on that King of Wands fighting type of energy and fight through it and push yourself through this portal, which now is kind of like you stepped into the other side with a new level of confidence, and you stepped into the sun energy, which is going to be a lot more lighthearted, a lot more lighter, a lot easier to move in, right? And to move about and to see what's going on. You can see further distances, right? You can move quicker and more efficiently because it's more lighter energy, which puts you into the star energy. So in the month of July, going into August, I do feel like you're at a place where you're center stage, right? You're taking on you're taking on that energy where you're being seen in some type of way, some type of capacity you're taking on where you're out in the open. You have to display something about yourself, and the sun card and the star card represent this. And by the way, these are two stars, right? Because the sun is a star too, so there's kind of like a brilliance about yourself, right? A certain energetic signature that has to be shown within the universe, within your environment, right? To a certain audience for some of you guys, but this could be within your community, within your family, just within your home for some of you guys, that you're wanting to display this certain energy, and you're wanting to kind of water your surroundings with this energy this newfound energy, because I do feel like this is going to be something new to you, right? It's almost like some spiritual gifts are coming out for you, or some newfound abilities are coming up to the surface, and it's almost like you have fairy dust. If you're looking at this picture, you're wanting to sprinkle your fairy dust on everybody around you, so you will have a certain attractiveness about you, right? You're almost like Tinkerbell in the month of July, because you've come through this certain portal, and a transformation has occurred. Right? You walked down a certain path that was very unknown for you. You had the courage to do this. And for that, it's kind of like you get rewarded with this high level of self-worth and giftedness. And you come through almost like transformed as a newer energy is what I'm feeling for some of you guys. If you were in that moon energy, it was a lot harder for you to move in it. You were fighting, almost like pushing through, trying to see what was going to be next and where this was going, this path that you've been on. But now you come through this portal, and it's like now it's almost like you can fly because it's a lighter level of gravity, almost, is what I'm feeling. Almost like how you kind of go out in space a little bit, right? And you can just jump higher and move, without having gravity just on you as much as it is what I'm feeling for some of you guys. So you're taking on that star energy, and there is going to be something that you're displaying, something that you're watering and using your newfound energy, confidence, and gifts to water your environment, to share with other people, is what the star card talks about. All right, so let's keep it moving. And then we go to the Four of Wands energy, which talks about being in a place of rest, retreat, rejuvenation. And I feel like this is where you have been. This matches the moon energy, right? You've been in a place where you have had the time to kind of contemplate your movements. You've had the time to kind of come up with a master plan. And you being in this Four of Swords energy of rest and relaxation has given you some clarity. Ace of Swords has come in, and it is going to be coming in the month of July, where you're kind of going to have that will, that push to move forward because you know something. The light bulb goes on. With this Ace of Swords energy is talking about kind of like the epiphany that you get to move forward. So if there was no movement before, it was only because you didn't have the ideas flowing, right? You didn't have the clarity. You didn't have this perspective that's coming through in the month of July. And because you're walking through this new portal and the energies are lightening up for you, right? You're kind of being called out of your cocoon, being called out of the cave, out of that level, that energy of development, to move forward into a place of progression and proactivity. And you know that's like that because you get this certain new level of perspective. So you're seeing the world differently. You're seeing it through different lenses. So you get clarity in July about how you're going to move forward, is what I'm feeling for a lot of you Tauruses. And this clarity, it comes because you paused for a second. There was no movement for a while, right? There was no action that was being taken, and you just had to pause. It was almost like the hangman energy, and you guys do have the hangman card under the deck for you. So overall, for your energy, you were kind of like just hanging in suspension, right? Contemplating, what do I do next? Like, where do I need to go? How am I going to continue on this path? Like, what? Because you knew there was something coming, and what was coming was this new crossover of energy, this portal that you were getting closer and closer to. But before, it felt like you were walking in dark, right? You didn't have night vision goggles on. You were just walking in total darkness, but definitely still pushing and moving forward with the Queen of Wands energy. So now with this Ace of Swords, it's like a gift that comes in, right, from the universe, and this brings you your clarity. This brings you perspective, right? And perspective changes our reality a lot of times. We can have one perspective and think that the reality that we're in is one way until the perspective changes and we understand, wait a minute, like, it's totally different from what I thought, right? Like an example of that could be somebody, let's think of a great example just so we can be clear on this, Taurus. All right, I would say if you ever saw the movie Limitless, right? In the movie Limitless, it was about a guy, and the thing that was messed up in his life was his perspective, how he viewed his reality. And so he had a very low, let's say a very low self-worth or self-image, and that had played a major part in the way he perceived his reality. So he would go to work, he would try to write, he was an author, so he was trying to write his book, and he would live in an apartment. It was very messy, like, he just felt depressed about his whole life. He was in a relationship and it wasn't working out because he couldn't come up with ideas to write his book, so his money was low, and everything just seemed low and dark and all that. So in the movie, he ended up taking this pill that changed his perspective, right? So the first time he took it and his perspective flipped over, he started to view his same reality he had been in all this time just totally different from a newer perspective. And he started to see, like, wait a minute, like, I can actually do a lot with what I have. Like, I can sit here and have enough focus to write this book. I can clean up my apartment. I can clean myself up. I can get a haircut. I can put on a different, outfit. I could feel better about myself. And he started to make all these different shifts and changes only because his perspective changed. And what I'm telling you is that you won't need a pill to do that in the month of July, because there is a shift in perspective that's coming in, right? Because you did take the time to pause for a second to understand where it is that you're at. All right, if you've been in that place of suspension anyway, you're now coming into July and August with a place, a movement of action. And you'll see how the perspective kind of comes in, right, Taurus? It could already be here for you. Then we have the Knight of Wands energy, right, which is talking about quick movements forward, right? Quickly moving into your ambition, moving into your path, pursuing your goals. The Knight of Wands goes after something very passionately, right? He's not the fastest moving knight because that's the King of Swords, but the King of Wands is very passionate. He rides with passion, right? And he almost can't be stopped because he's so passionate. So you are moving into this new place of action with passion. And this is kind of like the balance that you're bringing into your world. And the universe is doing this too with the Justice card, Major Arcana, talking about a balancing of the scales, a swinging of the pendulum. And this is the whole thing that's happening in your reading. The pendulum is swinging from the moon energy, right, which talks about darkness, talks about development, talks about subconscious activity, behind the scenes, nothing happening on the surface, nothing happening in the external world. It was all internal. It was being incubated. Now it has swinged all the way through another portal into surface level activity, action, right? Sparking your genius, sparking your uniqueness, sparking your brilliance. You being out in an open, you being center stage, you being the star that's shining. And this is what's happening. It's so much duality that's in your reading. It's almost crazy. But anyways, you're moving forward with this new level of passion towards your goals or towards your, the newfound direction that you've got, your perspective that you're taking on. I hope I'm making sense, because I know I feel like I'm everywhere. But your energy is everywhere, Taurus. So I'm just kind of trying to explain it, because the cards are here saying that you have jumped. This is almost like a quantum leap that has happened. Because in the world of quantum physics, which I study often, right, they explain a certain phenomena, which is a quantum leap. And it talks about moving from one level to the next, without having to really pass through what usually you would have to pass through to get there. And this is why you have jumped through this portal into this next place, right? And what's an example of that? The quantum leap that we took in technology, from the place of having no cell phones, or having cell phones that were just bricks that only could call or text using T9, right? And then in 2008 or 2009, the first smartphone from Apple hit the market. And we jumped in technology and leaped forward from a place of having phones that didn't do anything to now we have phones that do everything and connect you to the world, connect you to the internet. You can make transactions. You can build a business. You can contact people on camera. It does everything, right? That is what you call a quantum leap. Just an example, but this is almost like the quantum leap energy that you have taken on, Taurus, that I believe has been almost triggered by this eclipse. You're jumping from out of the moon energy through this portal into this sun energy, moving forward into your purpose, your path, your charisma, your gifts, your talents, what makes you you, your uniqueness, your shining. And you're doing it passionately. And this is the balance that the universe has brought into your life, which also talks about karmic retribution, because Saturn is still in retrograde. And during this period, we have karmic retribution, payoffs, paybacks, karmic clearing. All this is taking place. All right, I hope I'm making myself clear, Taurus. Let's keep it moving. Future energy, we have the Three of Swords, we have the Death card, we have the Ten of Wands, and then we have the Ace of Pentacles. So, Three of Swords energy, right? We're coming out of this Three of Swords energy into the Four of Swords. This is the leap that's happening. This is the forward movement. This is the progression. So, Three of Swords energy, hurt, pain, trauma, right? In our heart energy, in our heart space, this is things that have happened to us, that have hurt us and broken us, that we hold on to in our mind, right? And we continue to relive it like it just happened yesterday, only because we can't let go of it in our mentality and our thoughts and our thought making process, right? But you are moving from the Three of Swords energy into the Four of Wands energy, which talks about your mind being at ease, resting inside of your mental process, so that you're not always remembering things from the past and remembering trauma and repeating it over and over again and judging yourself again and having a guilt trip about it and blah, blah, blah. You're putting your mind at ease. And this is another thing that comes along with this quantum leap, with you coming through this portal with the pendulum swinging to the other side. All right, so the tables have turned. So the transformation has come through with the Death card. And now you're walked through this place of transformation, through this place of death, died off to things of the past, which really were this Three of Swords that had you entangled in your mind and life itself. And you're moving forward into this High Priestess energy, which talks about you tapping into your spirituality. You've tapped into your intuition, right? Your true nature, your authenticity. And move beyond a place where you were kind of stuck in these mental loops. So certain timelines have collapsed and died off in the death energy. And you're coming out more, what is the word? More, I can't think of the word. Brain freeze right there. But I almost feel like, you've been shaped within certain fire, right? And you're coming out as gold. Almost, right? You're coming out more processed in this transformation. And so this is you and your power in the High Priestess energy. She knows who she is. Very confident. She's the holder of the secrets, right? She has a connection to the subconscious. And so you could be in a place where you've been integrating your conscious mind with the subconscious mind, in a place of becoming one with yourself, so you didn't continue to have internal conflict with your, conscious mind fighting your subconscious, and that's what causes us pain a lot of times. So I do feel like you have integrated certain places in your mind, transformed into one, and you're walking out of this older cycle. Ten of Wands. This is kind of like a reiteration of what already happened in your main story. Ten of Wands is a completion of a hard, stressful period of you carrying around these burdens and you needing to do the work and work and work and work to clear all this karma, which came along with nothing but painful experiences. Three of Swords. And you continue to repeat these cycles of karma until you chose to get off the karmic wheel, which is what I think is happening with this world energy. And with karma being paid, justice is served. You have paid your karma, right? Now there can be a switch that's happening. And so Ace of Pentacles talks about the rewards that are coming through. Right? This is a reward from the universe. This is talking about abundance. This is a Ten of Pentacles also, which is talking about your wish fulfillment, right? Your vision for your life. I always see this as the vision board, right? What is it that you want? If you've been thinking about it, if you've been envisioning it, right, but you haven't really seen it in real life because nothing was happening. It was only happening beneath the surface. It was only happening internally. So you were doing the work internally. I think in the month of July, starting after this eclipse period, which has already passed for you guys, you're starting to be able to see these things come to the surface. And certain things that you've been envisioning for a while, not knowing when you would actually get them, are in a place of being delivered to you. I feel like this Ace of Pentacles is almost like it's on the way. It's coming your way. The things that you've been wishing about and wanting and visualizing and trying to manifest and attracting into your reality. Yeah, you could not get it in that last cycle that you've been in. There's no way it would have you didn't have the capacity to hold on to this big pinnacle because right, your hands were full. You were doing all this work on yourself. You were clearing all this karma. You were healing, right? You were balancing your temperament, balancing your mind, right? So there's no way you had the capacity to hold on to all these pinnacles. Like, no. But what did I say was happening with the world? How are you coming through as the King of Pentacles? He has the capacity to hold on to those pinnacles because he's worked on himself enough. Like, he doesn't have holes in his armor or holes inside of his energetic body, right? Look at him sitting and what's behind him, right? Space. This is talking about he's come to a certain place in his spirituality and his spiritual development where he can actually hold on to that pinnacle. He has enough weight up under him, right? He has enough clout in the spiritual realm in order to hold on to these pinnacles. He doesn't just get there just because, right? He gets there because he's done this type of work for a while. And so that's why he's so unbothered in this picture because he knows his self-worth, right? He's confident in what he can attract into his world now because he's had plenty of days of not having it. Let's go, Taurus. I'm going to end the reading right there. Happy July. Yes. And like always, if this resonated with you, like, share, subscribe, comment. I'll see you guys later on in the month of July.